G'day everyone, the attachment I'm about to show you today has been out for a little while and I've nearly bought one several times and just never gotten around to it. I've tried one a couple of times but I don't think I'd actually ever filmed anything with it. But this finally arrived the other day. I had to go out and get it in my damn underwear. The courier arrived on the 3rd of January and I was still in bed and I had to run out to get it in my underwear. So that gave the courier driver a bit of a laugh. Anyway, this clearly is going to need some setting up, some putting together, so let's get into it. So there we go, in the box we have the head, the shaft and the wheels. Let's put it together. Looks like a vacuum cleaner head at the moment. So what you need to do is take your shaft with this end, remove the condom from both ends. Both ends have a little rubber jiffy there. Ooh, and then the shaft is moving. Oh, not too much, that's alright. So the wheels slide onto the shaft end with the protuberances here. Slides over that. Looks like you can tighten it up anywhere along that length. It'll depend on your height, I guess, and where you want it. I don't know how it was going to work yet, so we'll just bung it somewhere. Tighten it up a little bit with the supplied Allen key. Next up, remove the third condom of the experience thus far and jam that onto the end of here, like so. Just be aware there's nothing to stop this shaft from sliding in and out while you're setting it up. Anyway, line that up with the inside of your thing there. Right, that is lined up. Now that needs to be screwed on, of course, and it comes with 2 screws of differing lengths. Which one goes where? Short one goes in the front into the locating hole on your shaft. Longer one tightens everything up. And easy as that, she's ready to go. Now the thing I noticed when I used this once before is the wheel angle to the blades and to the angle of the shaft wasn't ideal for my height. I'll have a play around with it today and see if I can get it any better. But if you bring this down, it will bring your shaft up to make it better for your height, but then you start angling the blade down. So we'll see how we go. Deliberately been letting this bit of lawn grow long so that I can test this tool. That's what I've been telling the wife anyway. But today is the day and I'm going to be using the 18 volt power head and the 40 volt power head. I don't think we need to probably use the 18x2. Maybe I'll use it. We'll see what happens. But I don't think this is going to be the sort of tool that needs a lot of power. I think it'll work fine on the 18, and so if it does, it's going to work on the 36 fine. But 40 volts the new beast, so we've got to put that in the video as well. 5 amp hour battery, 2.5 amp hour battery, both freshly charged, both the same amount of energy. If you're wondering, this is 90 watt hours, this is 90 watt hours. This is basically the same battery as the 18 volt one. It's just wired differently. Enough chat. Let's now get into cutting some grass. We'll have a nice little look at the cutter head first though, eh? The cutter head comes with a nice cover. It doesn't just slide on, it actually clips on the back here. It also has 2 holes, one on each side, and they line up with holes in the tool. I'm not sure what that's for. Surely you wouldn't hang it by that or anything. One thing the Makita system of these sort of tools is lacking is a way of hanging them up. You've got to come up with your own system basically, which is a bit annoying. There's a rival system that has things that go on the end of here so that you can just hook them up. They have a hook that slots over that and hangs up, and it's a very good idea, and thankfully they fit on the Makita ones, and so I have been using my ones from that particular brand on this brand. Anyway, so there is our teeth. Let's have a closer look. So as you can see, this thing is like a hedge trimmer but for the ground. So it's a hedge trimmer for grass. We have 2 rows of teeth that just go ding 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 over the top of each other like a hedge trimmer to cut your lawn. Now why would you use this? Why would you pick this over, say, a standard weed eater, line trimmer, weed whacker? Well, this isn't going to throw shit everywhere, hopefully. Weed eaters, they fire shit all over the place, and I hate using them out by the road especially because I've got to keep stopping as cars go past because I don't want to fire a stone into somebody's windscreen or ding the paintwork on their car and end up having a nice ding-dong argument out in the middle of the street. So this sort of thing cuts a nice wide path and shouldn't throw anything anywhere. Probably a bit quieter too, I'm guessing, and maybe a bit nicer to use if you're, a lot of people are scared of weed whackers, so because they throw so much shit and they fire so much crap into your legs and stuff. This, you wouldn't need as much safety equipment because it ain't gonna be firing a whole lot of crap back at you. But is it actually any good? Is it as good as a weed eater? Is it quicker? Is it slower? Is it going to leave piles of grass everywhere? Only one way to find out. 18 volt up first. First thing that's evident before I even pull the trigger is I'm going to have to lower these wheels, as I suspected. Right, that seems a bit better suited for my height. It's basically down as far as it'll go without sliding off that little ridge that keeps it in place. Now, as you can see, I have safety footwear on. That is because I'm not using a weed eater, and so I'm going to see if this thing flicks anything. Hopefully it won't. I'll just stick with my Kiwi footwear. It's not full-on Kiwi footwear, I know, but I don't want to go barefoot because there could be some bees around here, and if I stand on one of those, well, I won't be making any videos for a few weeks. So, I don't think we're going to need earmuffs either. Let's try this out on the top speed on the 18 volt power head. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm already loving it because, like I said, you can do it in jandals and you don't need ear protection. It's not very loud at all. It kind of takes the grass with you. You saw me when I was cutting, it was staying on the front of the blade basically and just piling it up. So if you did a long run, which I'll do in a moment, hopefully it'll just sort of carry a lot of it along with it, and you can just maybe pick it up at the end or rake it away, or I don't know. Let's see. Well, that's pretty quick and easy and so quiet. It is going to leave a bunch of grass laying around though if you let it get this long. Now, normally I would use a catcher on a lawnmower and that would pick all this shit up, which is how I prefer to do it, else you end up with your grass just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Your lawn, I mean, the ground level, because everything's composting back in. Yeah, it's better for the lawn, but you don't want to do it all the time because if you leave all of this grass on there, yeah, like I say, sometimes it smothers patches and kills it off, or it just builds up your ground level too high. Gonna chuck the 40 volt power head on it now, see if it feels like it makes any difference. Pretty happy with it so far. It's probably a bit slower than a weed eater because you've got to keep sort of backing up over the same bit of ground and that sort of thing instead of just sort of moving along, walking through, wiping everything out. You've got that sort of wasted time where it's not cutting, when you've got to pull it back. But it does cut perfectly fine. This ground is not very level though, so it does sort of rock a little bit as it hits all the little bumps in the ground, and you can end up digging a corner in, which is, you know, I was thinking hopefully you'd get a smoother finish with this than a weed eater, which, you know, if you're trying to do a big bit of lawn like this, for instance, with a weed eater, you often take out little clumps, unfortunately. And this might end up doing the same, just because, yeah, if your ground's not dead flat, any little perturbation in this is gonna tip those edges, because they stick out so far, it's gonna dip them into your ground pretty quick. You can also go right up to things, bump into that timber, and I'm not damaging it. If I hit that with a weed eater, it would just be leaving marks all the way along and damaging the timber over time, make quite a big difference. But if you take a look on the ends of these, we've got two prongs on the ends that stick out a bit further than the teeth on the blades there. So those hit a flat surface like that first, before the teeth can even touch it. So it doesn't damage the teeth, doesn't damage the timber. Pretty good. And those teeth on the end, as you saw, also sort of push the grass in on the edges and allows you to get tied up to something without damaging it. It's definitely got its place. Does feel a bit more like vacuuming than mowing. You sort of push it around a bit more like a vacuum cleaner, you know. But I'm looking forward to using this out by the road. It'll be a good option out there, like I say, so it doesn't flick shit out into the street, because there ain't any flicking going on here at the moment. Also great for like little narrow areas where it's just not worth getting out a lawnmower, or you can't get a lawnmower down there. And yeah, I'm using a lawnmower less and less. I noticed it's on a bit of a lean there actually. The angle's not quite right with the wheels. That's probably why I'm digging in with this left side a bit. Just give that a little bit of an adjustment. On the lowest speed, on the 40 volt, it cuts all right, but you have to push it a lot slower. So you can't whack through it anywhere near as quick. So I recommend bunging it on full whack. Yo, tools, if it's like a hedge trimmer, can I cut through branches and shit like a hedge trimmer can? Those look like pretty big gaps in those teeth. Will it cut through tough shit or just grass? I don't know. I'll see if I can find something. Let's go have a look. See how it does with some of the debris on the lawn here. Well, it didn't struggle doing any of that. I'll go see if I can find something a bit thicker that's growing upright instead of just shit laying on the grass. What is going on here? Now, while these taro are not very tough, they are quite girthy. So they're bigger than the teeth on this particular tool. So how well will it do munching through these? Oh, I just chopped up wild strawberries. Oh shit, it's sharp. So you can just whack it up into hedge trimmer mode. Now it may not last as long as a hedge trimmer, your standard hedge trimmer, before you need to give it a bit of maintenance, because if you're doing ground like this that's full of stones, you're going to hit a lot more stones than you're ever going to hit with your hedge trimmer. So your teeth might get a bit dinged up. So might need a bit more maintenance, but you never have to change cord on it, which I know so many people hate. So yeah, no cord, no little bits of cord getting flung off into the environment as well to, you know, decompose over the next 10,000 years and be eaten by birds and what have you. So better for the environment, better for your ears, better for your shins, as long as you don't walk into the end of that thing like I did just a moment ago. Easy to use as both a ground hedge trimmer and a real hedge trimmer. For certain types of hedges, this would actually be quite handy, just that short distance and the sort of angle it's on. If you're just doing along the top of low buxus hedges, like I used to do all the time at work, that might be quite handy. What else can we cut through? So it cuts through some pretty thick stuff, and it cuts through reeds, it cuts through lilies, as you just saw. And because, you know, it doesn't fling around in a 360-degree arc, you can push it into water and it doesn't spray shit everywhere, which is nice. So unlike a weed eater, which you can't really put in water, this you can use to clear the edge of lakes and streams and stuff like I've just been doing, and reach out a fair way. Makita also make a ground hedge trimmer attachment, another one that's more like the traditional hedge trimmer, that has the blade in line with the shaft, which means you can sweep it from side to side like you would with a weed eater, which would probably be better for getting stuff out of this particular stream. For instance, you could get into here and clean up all this stuff just by chopping through at the base of it and eradicating it quickly. It will of course grow back when you do that, but if you want to get the water flowing fast, then that's one way to do it. The things I love about it the most are it's dead quiet. It doesn't flick up stones and twigs and other shit to hit you in the face and fire it around 360 degrees. And when you are cutting something, you can push it in the direction you want to go, so you can be sort of pushing it along like a broom and then tip it into a pile and pile it all up in one place if you desire, unlike a weed eater which distributes it in a 360 degree pattern up your legs and all over the place, up the side of buildings, through glass windows, stuff like that. So this one will avoid all of that. But it does have its limitations as well, and it feels a little odd. It's a little bit weird to get used to. It's sort of, yeah, it's a new thing to do, you know. Whoops, nearly knocked the camera over. It's just a bit different because you feel like you should be swinging it from side to side like a weed eater, but instead you're pushing it more like a vacuum cleaner. But it has its place. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. I'll probably end up using it for doing out in front of my place by the road where it's just not really worth getting a lawnmower out, but I don't want any stones flicking from a weed eater, so it will definitely come in handy. So if you're interested in that, take a look down in the description. I'll see if I can find some links. I'll put them down there if you want to buy one. And until next time, have a good one, guys, and there'll be some more OPE soon, hopefully. There's a few that I still haven't done yet, but until then, have a good one, and tools out. I didn't place the flowers in the shop, by the way, either. That was my wife. So I recommend bunging it on full whack.